Law number 4, the law of authenticity.
Authenticity. Gosh, I love that one because in my experience, so many people want to try to play the game that they think other people should perceive them as. They think, oh, I should be this person, even though their underlying belief system, their core value of who they are, says, I am not this person, but they try to act this way because I think that's what the world wants. But if you act your core values, let me back up before I talk about core values. If you're acting one way, and yet your core values say something different about you, you're going to be miserable at your job. So many people, you may have encountered this as well, become miserable at their job, doing a job you hate. Why do you hate it? Because it doesn't line up with your core values of who you are as a person.
Deception is exhausting.
Right, it's lie to cover, lie to cover, lie to cover, lie. You're selling a product that you don't believe in, right? You're performing a service that you know you're ripping people off. Right? You know the company should not be charging this, and yet you're doing it anyway because that's what the company says and you need the job.
Right. So if you find yourself in that situation, what do? Just quit?
Well, that sure sounds easy, but that's not as easy. What it is understanding that, okay, this is not my core belief. At some point, the pain gets too high. The pain of what you're doing gets high enough that you're willing to make a change.
Sure.
Let me give you a short example, okay? So when I was younger, my grandfather had a hound dog named Butch. So Butch used to be on the front porch. I remember sitting outside on the front porch in Dallas, Texas, and it's middle of summer, it's like 100-something degrees, and the only thing to do in Dallas, Texas back then was listen to the radio, watch the grass grow, and watch the cars go by. That's all we could really do, right? So I'm sitting where I'm looking at the house. There's 2 rocking chairs over here. We got a radio, and Butch is laying over near the screen door. My grandmother, she brought us lemonade, so we're listening to the radio. We're chatting a little bit. So I'm a little kid, and every once in a while, my Butch, the hound dog, he'll go, oh, he just like howl like that. He just raise his head up and howl, and then he lay back down. Right? And he did this all day long. We're trying to figure out what's wrong with him, right? The first time he did it, he just raised up and he'd howl like that, and he was doing it all day long. We couldn't figure it out. The end of the day, when it was time for him to go in and have supper, right, you could hear the food go in the bowl, so he finally gets up and he goes inside, and I noticed the Butch was laying on a rusty nail.
Oh.
He was complaining,
Yeah.
but it wasn't enough pain
it.
for him to change. He was uncomfortable, but not enough for him to actually move 3 inches to get out of the way.
So often that we just sit there and complain, and
Just
we
complain
could
and
change,
complain.
but we
Complain.
don't. We want to move 3 inches.
We want to be the victim,
Yeah.
right? We want to complain
There
about
is
it,
a
but we don't want
payoff
to do
to
anything.
being a victim.
There is a payoff. Pain and reward, right?
Yeah.
When the pain's high enough, you'll change.
Yeah.
So if you hate your job, sooner or later, you're going to change when the pain gets high enough that you're really disgusted with the job that you have.
Okay. And this is because you're not being authentic to
You're not being
your
authentic.
true self or to your own desires or to your values.
Not only to you, but to others around you. And you know that you're living a lie.
Right. What happens when you're in a situation that seems unchangeable? Even, I guess all situations are changeable, but say you're in a terrible marriage.
You can still work on you and who you are and who you are to the world around you. You can never change the people around you.
That's a
It's
good
worthless
thing to know.
effort.
You cannot change
But you
the
can
people
change
around
you. And the interesting thing is that when you change you and you become who you really are,
Yeah.
people around you, they'll try to pull you back into the old mold of who they visualized you as,
Right.
but eventually they'll change right along with you.
Yeah.
So you have to be true to yourself first.
They might need to be cut off, like we talked about earlier.
Well, yeah, but if you said you're in a marriage, right,
Oh,
and there
well,
are
in a
kids and
marriage,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
right.
That's
Yep.
an extreme.
Yep,
That's
sure.
what I'm saying, but you can still be true to who you are.
Sure.
And because if you allow them to influence you and be who you're not, then they win.
Yeah.
But if you're true to who you are and you follow your own core values, they can't have power over you unless you give it to them.
Yeah. That's
You're the only one.
That's a powerful thing to realize as well. They can't have power over you unless you give it to them. I like that.